I didn't come here to say anything. I came here to listen. But I appreciate the opportunity to just have a second to tell you my personal story. I'll say before I do that, thank you for Ron Johnson. Senator Johnson's also a member of the Finance Committee, and it is my hope that we can get that committee, which I think has the most powerful jurisdiction, particularly over these areas of any in the United States Congress. And so I'm hopeful we can get a focus on addressing the government's part of the role in this to get us back on a better track. I've met some of you. I have listened to more of you. Max, yours is one of the first podcasts and first books that I read when I started this journey.
Wow. You probably knew how to pronounce his name properly.
What'd you say, Ron?
I said you probably knew how to pronounce his name properly. I didn't. Sorry, Max.
And I've referenced it to all of my kids and other people I talk to. And the same thing, I've listened to Casey and Callie. I listened to your interview on Tucker Carlson. And I think you've done that same interview on about 10 other podcasts. Because when I started searching you, I came across you very regularly, and I intend to listen to more. And there are others here who I've read and seen and been exposed to your materials. But let me be very quick, and then let's get back to you. I didn't always look like this. In fact, right now, I didn't intend this, but this is the suit that I got married in.
Wow.
And following all of the bad nutritional things that you probably have been talking about here today, I couldn't fit this suit for many years, and it sat in my closet. And, I had to get into bigger and bigger suits. To make this long story short, I had a friend from years back who told me that just go low carb and you'll be fine and you'll lose weight. And so I just decided to do that. And when I do something, I tend to be very rigid about it. I mean, aggressively, I stick to it. So I was going low carb, but I was basically just doing meat, cheese, and eggs. And that can get really boring, but I did it. And I lost about 15 pounds in about 2 or 3 weeks. And my daughter, who is an ER doc, noticed this, and she said, "What are you doing, Dad?" And so I said, "Well, I'm just going low carb." And she said, "You maybe ought to," and she asked me what I was eating. And she said, "Those are all good foods, but you maybe ought to look into the keto diet or some of the discussion around that to get a little bit better idea of what a more healthy but similar approach to dieting would be." So I did. And that's when I got into what I call clean keto, but it was just, eating the right oils, the right fats, and there's a right balance with the carbs, and the kinds of carbs that I would eat would be the ones that came in vegetables rather than drinking them, and all of the kind of things I'm sure you've been talking about here today. And I lost 65 pounds in about 3 months. And that's when I could put this suit back on. And I've been wearing it ever since. That was about 6 years ago. And I've been sticking to it. I've actually gone to sort of intermittent keto because I was so aggressive at it. I figured I had lost all the fat and I was starting to burn muscle or something else. So I thought I got to get kind of a little bit more normal about this. And so now I do all the intermittent fasting and those kinds of things. But now I do intermittent keto, and I stick to it. My blood work got phenomenal, and I'm sticking to following that. And I will just make another advertisement for some of you in here. I got to using a CGM. I've stopped using it because the insurance won't pay for it now because I'm not on insulin. And so there's a few things that we need to do to help folks who are not independently wealthy and can't just do all the things that they want to do. Get access to some of the tools and mechanisms that we need to access. But I just wanted to tell you, I am so immersed in your world right now. I'm so happy you're here delivering this message, and I hope it's listened to all over the halls of Congress, and I hope to do my part when we get a chance to help that happen.
Hey, Mike, By the way, you'll make a fabulous chairman of the Finance Committee, but Callie Means has a question for you.
Senator, thank you so much for that testimonial. And when I hear stories like that, I think everyone around the table has one. It's so inspirational, but it makes me a little angry thinking about lower income kids in this country, how we don't incentivize that path of curiosity. We don't incentivize bioobservability, blood testing. We really, if a kid is sad, they're getting an antidepressant. If they have high cholesterol, they're getting a statin. If they have high blood sugar, they're getting metformin. And now the American Academy of Pediatrics is pushing for Ozempic jabs for 6-year-olds. And I just think that's enriching. It's breaking our finances as a country, but not spurring them. We could spur, not dictate what Americans should do, but spur that. I just wonder from a finance perspective how much trusting Americans with more flexible spending accounts, HSAs, whether that's a part of the mix.
Oh, it's got to be. You've got to put the ability back in the hands of people. One piece of it, which I was hoping to hear a lot from and get a lot from you in the future about, is the messaging and how we get people curious about this. I don't think that it's either government's role or that they could do it very well to make people listen. But I do believe that it's part of our role to take incentives out of the way, to create the right incentives in our governmental programs, and then fund, or really allow people to fund their own HSAs or other ways to let people have the ability to purchase and access their own health care out of their own choices. So what I think we can do is get the bad incentives out of the way, create and boost, put on steroids the new incentive, the right incentives, and then just continue to be a government that is friendly to people and lets them learn how to take care of their own futures.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I didn't realize this panel is really going to be an audition for a future Senate Finance Committee hearing, but hopefully that's the case.
Thank you, Senator.
But thanks a lot, Mike. Appreciate that. Let's next go to another testimonial with Ms. Grace Price. Ms. Price is an 18-year-old citizen scientist